journalist, anchor, executive producer, talk show host, and mentor. These are a few of the titles our next honoree, Maria Hinojosa, holds. In my view, Maria is the embodiment of the phrase, build it and they will come. As a reporter who was the first Latina in many newsrooms, Maria Hinojosa dreamt of a space where she could create independent, multimedia journalism that explores and gives a critical voice to the diverse American experience. To that end, Maria created the Futuro Media Group, an independent nonprofit organization based in Harlem with the mission to create multimedia content for and about the new American mainstream in service of empowering people to navigate the complexities of an increasingly diverse and connected world. Maria is the anchor and executive producer of the Peabody Award-winning show Latino USA, distributed by NPR, as well as the PBS show America by the Numbers. She has a new political podcast, and she is host of the Maria Hinojosa One-on-One. Maria is also the author of two best-selling books. Maria is a 4-time Emmy Award winner, a 2-time recipient of the Robert F. Kennedy Award, and the recipient of the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Award. One of the reasons why we love Maria is that she always tells it like it is. In today's 24-hour news cycle, the one thing we can count on is that Maria Hinojosa is a truth teller who will always bring to the airways honesty, credibility, and integrity, which for many journalists has been lost. Witness the brilliance of Maria Hinojosa in the following video.
And so I grew up with this heightened awareness of people amongst us who do not have. And I really appreciate institutions, organizations, and human beings who are able to look beyond their privilege to understand that actually at our core, most people just want the same thing. And one of those basic things is to be able to survive, make a living, pay your bills, put food in your belly, feed your kids, go to school. And the fact that some of us are so poor that any of that becomes a challenge, frankly, is an assault on our democracy.
Please welcome to the stage McSilver Honoree Maria Hinojosa.
Okay, but can you see me? Because, you know, I'm the shortest recipient tonight, and I'm wearing my 5-inch heels, so okay, you can see me. All right. You made it. So glad. All right. So first of all, you were saying the jobs, you know, and you're like, she does this, and I'm like, well, I'm Mexican, so I have 16 jobs. I also want to say thank you to the McSilver Institute for having me here with this extraordinary group of honorees. Seriously, the power here is kind of amazing. And apart from meeting Marley, who's going to run for office and lead us all, right? So, Marley, when that time comes, you're going to remember what just happened in that little room that you and I were in. Right. I was teaching Marley how to walk in high heels. So I just want that known. That's what happened before we got it. Actually, to meet Connie. Wow. I just said, where do you live? She goes, all over. I was like, I have to go out and I need to sit and talk with you. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. No, because I just met you, so I hope I'm not revealing. But, you know, Connie is a very important, influential woman of the world and of this city and of this university. And in the back room, she was talking to us about the fact that she was a migrant worker when she was a child and how she had to pick the apples. And, oh, I'm going to get emotional. No. I'm not going to get emotional. Because right now, it's precisely those workers who are being assaulted. So thank you, thank you, Connie, for
for being able to speak about things, because, there's so much shame right now. Also, you guys are so amazing because you do work around mental health. And that statistic about African American young boys, you probably also know that Latina teenagers have the highest rate of attempted suicide. We don't complete, but we have the highest rate of attempted suicide and have had it for decades. So, just very quickly, because I've only got 2 minutes and I know somebody's counting. Tonight, to me, is necessary. It is urgent. What we are living through is not normal. Those of us here tonight, we are not just people of conscience. We are people who are engaged in the fight to save our country from its worst self. Because like all the amazing people here who have this capacity to dream, we have others who don't have that vision of our country and what they want to do with it. Now, part of that, part of the moment that we're living through, this challenge, was actually in part created by a mainstream media that right now is less diverse than it was before 9/11. I know. There's less diversity in mainstream newsrooms than there was before 9/11. And part of what happens when you have that lack of diversity in the newsroom is that then there's a perspective that is put out there for all of us. And the narrative was that demographic change and immigration and black people being in power was somehow, going to be so scary. And this fear, right? This fear of what was happening, right? And so that is why I created my own nonprofit media company, because I wanted to challenge that narrative. And I had worked in those mainstream newsrooms at CNN and et cetera. And I was tired of having to fight for my stories to be listened to. And so then I just said, maybe I'll create my own company, which was really insane. But we're now 8 years old. Latino USA, our audience grew by 45% last year, so I'm just saying. So please listen if you don't. In the Thick, that Dr. Christina Greer is on a lot, and I think some of my fellow honorees will be on more increasingly. Please listen. It's the only politics podcast anchored by two Latinos talking about POC and politics. And we did this so that we could take control of the narrative and show that really there's nothing to fear, right? That the fear that has been stoked recently actually is fear that has been here for a long time. And frankly, they succeeded in creating fear. But the fear that I know is the fear of my fellow neighbors and my students and my friends who are too afraid to walk the streets, who have family members who are having their children ripped away from their arms, where we have 5,000 or so dead American citizens in Puerto Rico, and there is fear on the streets. But this is about gratitude tonight, right? Because we have to flip that, right? So this is what I see here is beauty and no fear of diversity, and actually hearts filled with gratitude to be here alive together with you, and to tell those of us who are deported or challenged that you are not a loser. You yourself are not a loser because of this. And so to love and support one another the way you are doing for us tonight, and to see yourself in the person most unlike you. But ultimately, I'm so thankful that you recognize me as a vanguard, and for me, I am simply a vanguard of telling the truth. Thank you so much.